Hello, hello. Welcome to episode 2 of the Portraits of Home series, where I, Olivia Lamone, help you discover all the people and places and stories that make Waukesha County such a unique place to call home. This second interview is with Mariah Ryback, who is a local brand photographer here in Waukesha. She is such a deep well of inspiration when it comes to all things branding, marketing, and entrepreneurship. So if you are someone that is trying to start a business of your own, this is the episode for you. I really hope you enjoy. Thank you for listening. Hey, Mariah.
Hi.
Welcome to the Portraits of Home podcast. I'm actually super excited to be talking to you today.
Thank you.
There's a lot I wanted to ask you about, but I think the best place to start is tell me about yourself. Where did you go to school? What is your background? And how did you come to start this photography studio here in Waukesha?
Yeah, my name's Mariah Ryback. I own Indigo Media Co. And I went to college for marketing in WCTC. Graduated that. I was going to climb the corporate ladder, and I started to, and I hated it. So I started my own photography business about 7 years ago. I was a wedding photographer, portrait photographer, family, couples. I kind of did it all until I remembered I have a marketing degree and I really love what I do. So I started working with business owners and switched to branding and social media management.
That is interesting that you went from working with couples and doing, you said weddings?
Yes.
And all the fun creative photography niches, but then you backtracked to marketing. What is it that drew you to marketing?
Yeah, I'm very passionate about it. I love the storytelling. I love finding the string and the connection between what a business needs to do to resonate and attract that dream client. And I'm very passionate about that. So I love marketing. I love storytelling. So when I was doing weddings, I loved doing that. But I wanted my weekends back. I missed working with other people who really wanted to be there. With weddings, there's always like that groomsman that doesn't want to be there. And with business owners, they know they want to grow their business. They want to invest in their business, grow and elevate. So I want to work with the people who are really excited to be there, and business owners want to grow and be within the photo shoot.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see how there's, I had my wedding actually in August of
Congrats.
This past year, and I can tell you, wedding photography is definitely rowdy, to say the least. You have people who are drunk, you have people that are confused, and it can be a lot. So I kind of wanted to backtrack a little bit more. So you went to school for marketing.
Correct.
Do you feel like that degree and that educational background helped you with starting this business? Do you think you could have done it without that background? I want to hear more about that connection.
Yeah, I think it absolutely helped me grow my business and the aspects within marketing in this business. I went to WCTC, so they're very fundamental. So I was going to go get my bachelor's degree after I graduated, but I only needed 2 marketing classes and 2 years of schooling. So at WCTC, it was really foundational. We worked with small businesses. We actually worked with a brewing company in Milwaukee. Sendix came in. So we worked with a lot of small businesses and did hands-on work. So I think it really helped. And along with the marketing degree, you had to take business courses as well. So there was a capstone class where you had to create your own business plan and your own marketing plan. And it was not for a photography business. I did not have that vision back then, but it really was helpful. I think you could do it without it, but that specific experience at WCTC was very helpful.
Yeah, I was a communications major in college, and we also had to do a class where we created our own public relations proposal, which is basically the same thing. It's a communications brand, or it's a communications plan for a small business.
Yeah.
So I've been there. It's a lot of fun doing the storytelling side of things. Do you have a specific moment in mind where you realized that, okay, I love photography, I'm passionate about it, I can actually make this into a business?
Ooh, that's a good question. When I left my corporate job, I went back to my part-time job that was a property manager. It was not a fun job. It was the company and the owners were great, but as a property manager, it's not fun. So when I had my photography on the side, I was delusional. I was like, I can make this a business. And I just kind of started from there. I started very small without a plan. I would not suggest doing it, but I was 21 years old and I wanted to try it out. And then I slowly grew from there when I realized, okay, I want this to be a business. I want to actually someday make this my living income. Then I took it seriously. Then I started taking courses, online courses for photography, creating your own business. So I had to kind of get in before I realized, oh, this is what I really want to do. And I need to create a plan.
Yeah. So then would you actually recommend to people they have a business idea, would you kind of tell them that they should just go for it, kind of just jump into the water before they're ready? Because it sounds like that's what you did a little bit. You started at 21 and then you just kind of figured it out.
Yeah, I would definitely say you have to start because if you wait for the perfect moment, you will be waiting forever because there's no perfect moment. If you want to start a business, I would start doing that service for free, honestly, and then really see if you're good at it and see if you need to improve before you start charging. But yeah, definitely start before you're ready.
Yeah, no, I agree with that 100%. I was talking to another woman who owns a business in Waukesha. It's a stained glass studio. Ooh. And her story is so similar, where she just woke up and decided she wanted to learn stained glass, and within the span of a year, learned the art form and started her own business. She just kind of went for it, started before she was ready, and figured it out. And so it reminds me a lot of what you're saying. You both mirror each other in that way. Do you have any advice for entrepreneurs who are trying to build a personal brand? What do you think it is that makes a good personal brand?
That's a good question. So if you're building a personal brand as an entrepreneur, you need to figure out like what is your mission and values? Like why are you doing this? And then what do you want people to know about you? Like I have a personal brand and people think they know everything about me, but they really don't. It's what that I want them to see in the forefront of my business. So if you're building a personal brand, figure out like what do you want, like who do you want to work with? Do you want to work with people who are like very serious? Do you want to work with people who are more bubbly? Like reflect that personality and be authentic. Don't pull something else that's not you, but you want to figure out who you want to be within your business when building a personal brand because there's so many people within that industry. You want to be the person that you want to connect with and when people want to connect with you.
Yeah. No, on the topic of authenticity, that's a big buzzword right now. How do you think your photography style helps brands become their authentic self? Like, how does that tie in? Photography and authenticity and personal branding?
Yeah. So a lot of business owners I work with, they think they kind of need to be put in a box. They're like, this is kind of what I want to be, but I don't know if I want to step into this. And stepping into that would be like a aspect of their ideal client. So one client I was working with, they do makeup. And they're like, I'm an elder millennial. I want to be like a little bit more edgy. Want to talk about, the old music that we used to listen to back in like the 80s and 90s. And she was scared that if she did that, she would deter other people from her marketing. But if you're speaking to everyone in marketing, you're speaking to no one. So you do need to pick a lane of who you want to speak with. And just because you're speaking to one person doesn't mean those other people can't work with you. But when you're doing marketing, you want to make sure you're speaking with one person and that is authentically reflected within your brand and who you want to work with.
Yeah, no, I like to think of it as, when you're starting off creating that personal brand and you're trying to create that sense of authenticity, it's so important because you will start to get attention. People will start to follow you and pay attention to what you're doing. And you want to make sure those are people that you are comfortable presenting yourself to.
Yeah.
If you attract the wrong audience, then it's really hard to backtrack. I've actually seen on Instagram, I was scrolling the other day and I saw this horror story of this girl that she accidentally went viral for a reel that didn't really reflect her and what she was actually doing. And it basically attracted a random cohort of like young men who had nothing to do with her platform. It was just her in a bikini or something like that. And then she got a ton of followers and she's like, no, these people are not relevant at all to my bottom line. So I think that kind of ties into that importance of creating a brand and only doing things that reflect you, that you feel comfortable with, that you would be comfortable doing every day.
Yes. And I also do social media management. So one thing I tell people is like, you don't want to go viral. Because if you're going viral, unless you are someone who can serve everyone or a product that can serve everyone, most of the clients that I work with are in Milwaukee. If you go viral, you're going to reach people all across the world, which is great. But you don't want to reach hundreds of thousands of people across the world. You want to have a good community of people and a good network of clients in the area that you're going to work with. Because someone in California that finds my videos, that's great. But I work with I work with business owners here in Milwaukee and Waukesha, so they're not going to help my business. They're not going to be hiring my business. So you want to work with like smaller videos. You don't want to go viral. You want to attract your dream clients and speak to them versus speaking to everyone.
That is such a hot take because everyone wants to go viral in this day and age. People spend hours trying to figure out exactly how to trick the algorithms and manipulate it so that they get everyone's eyes on them. And I was thinking the same thing recently because I'm very much focused on building community in Waukesha. So it wouldn't really do anything for me to go viral for the wrong reason and attract people from out of the state or out of the country right now. So
exactly.
I agree with you.
Yeah, you don't need thousands of people looking at your business. You just need a good handful of people that are your dream clients that you'd want to work with and that are local to you.
Yeah. And on the topic of local community, so your studio here is in Waukesha, and I'm so curious how that has impacted your business because it's always different, right? We set up shop in different cities, and those cities have an impact on who we become and the business that we run. So I would love to know what your thoughts are on working a small business in Waukesha.
I love it. The community is great. I worked a lot in Milwaukee. I had a studio in Milwaukee before, but I live here in Waukesha County. So I wanted to bring a space that businesses could come. We could take incredible photos to grow their business and grow their brand. And I wanted to build that here in Waukesha so we didn't have to go drive on the freeway in rush hour traffic all the time. And as I got the studio in Waukesha, I realized that the inclusive business community in Waukesha wasn't as strong as it was in Milwaukee. So I wanted to build on that because there's so many business owners that I've met at events in Milwaukee that come from Waukesha, come from Lake Country area, but they don't have the community aspect in here. Yes, we have the chambers, which is great. I've been to those events, but we don't have like an inclusive community for business owners. So I did start a networking event here in downtown Waukesha. It's called Waukesha Women's Networking Night. It's for women in business to come in. We host these events every other month, and I just wanted to build that community. I wanted to meet other business owners in the area, which I have been. It's been so great. People are like, oh, I drove past. I've been wondering what was here. So many people in downtown Waukesha who have brick and mortar businesses or even online businesses, they can come in here. We can meet each other and grow the community here in Waukesha because it really is a great community.
Yeah, no, just tacking off of what you just said, I have found that the Waukesha business community is beyond friendly.
Yeah.
And it's so unexpected because when my husband and I moved here in December, we didn't really know what to expect. Mm-hmm. And there's so many events. I love the Friday Night Live where they just open up the street and the businesses are out and about. And it's very, in terms of the different types of businesses, you have record stores, you have antique stores, you have art shops. So it's really eclectic. And that really surprised me. I have seen your networking events, and I find that so cool. Can you tell me a little bit more about those, about how that idea came to you or maybe not you told me how the idea came to you, but can you tell me more about what you think your unique spin on the networking event is?
Absolutely. Yeah. So there's speed networking events. So you sit across the table from another business owner. I have a timer and a bell, and I host it with another business owner here in Waukesha. Her name is Cece, and we organize it so you have 5 minutes with every person. You have a sheet that you need that can help you introduce yourself and your business if you're not a speaker, if you don't have that elevator pitch down, and then you're able to introduce yourself, learn about the other business. We ring the timer and the bell, and then you move on to the next person. So you're able to meet a lot of people in a short amount of time. You're able to introduce yourself, and then at the end, you can connect with people that you loved working or loved chatting with. You think that you would work well together. You could collaborate together. And after the event, people always stick around and continue that conversation. And they've really enjoyed the community that we're building here, because we didn't create this to make money. We just wanted to create a community here in Waukesha and connect with other people.
That is so cool. It kind of reminds me of my friend was telling me about a speed dating event that she went to. So that sounds almost exactly like the same structure. And I like it because I think one of my biggest anxieties about going to networking events is navigating them and starting conversations, ending conversations, moving on to the next person without being rude.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you've kind of taken that pressure off of people because there's a timer.
Yes, and that is exactly how I felt when I started going to networking events too. So I like to say I'm an extroverted introvert. Like, I'm an introvert at heart, but I love speaking with people one-on-one. But large groups of people, large crowds, they do intimidate me a little bit. So one event that I went to, it was a bunch of the chambers together, and it was a great event, but you walked in and there were probably over 100 people there. They were all in little pods, and I didn't know how to start a conversation with someone when I started networking. So you need to have a space where you can feel comfortable, introduce yourself. It's a little more structured, so I really like having the structure, because then you're able to meet almost everyone as well, versus like an open networking event where you're not able to have the chance to introduce yourself to everyone because other conversations are happening.
Yeah, I 100% agree with everything you just said. On the topic of networking, how would you frame it to a business owner? What do you think is the importance of networking when you're just starting off? Or maybe you don't have a business yet, but you're still a working professional. Why do you think it is so important to go to these networking events and to put yourself out there?
Yeah. So I don't think you grow your business by the person that you meet. I think it's the person that knows someone that knows someone that knows someone. So it's about building a community and building relationships with people. So networking isn't just solely like going up to someone and being like, hi, this is my business. Like, I hope you want to hire me. It's here is what I do, here is who I serve, and then learning about the other person and then seeing if there's any connection. Can we do an event together? Can we maybe combine our services? I'm working with a personal stylist who has a business. I'm bringing her on so she can help my clients pick out their outfits for photo shoots. So it's like building relationships and seeing how you can work together or refer them as well, even if you've never worked together. So it's just more about relationships and community. And I can tell you, I would not have my business if I didn't network with other people. It has grown my business so much just meeting and chatting with other people.
Yeah. I mean, you got to build your village.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. You got to build that tribe.
You got to build that tribe because I have been so surprised at how just simply putting myself out there. I don't have a job right now, right?
Yeah.
I'm studying, I'm in school, but I'm still networking and putting myself out there. And the kindness that I have received from strangers is unbelievable. People are always so much nicer than you realize. And when you start talking to them and they see how they can help you, people want to help. They want to offer advice. They want to help you get a leg up in the world if they're a kind-hearted, confident person, you know? So
yeah, exactly. Like when I'm at networking events and people say like, oh, I hate marketing, I hate social media, I'm not going to sit there and I'm not going to pitch to them, but I'm going to tell them, or I'm going to ask them like, okay, why do you hate it? Like, tell me a little bit, and then give them some insight. So it's always like, how can you help someone? How can you connect with them and build relationships?
Well, on the topic of hating social media, I feel like that's a perspective thing because there's definitely sides to social media that are not really social at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. You know, it really depends on who you're interacting with and who you're following. I am very careful right now at this point in my life where I spend my time and who I'm paying attention to online. I like following people who I can tell they're authentic. Their brand is actually authentic to who they are. There's a real estate agent that I follow I believe she's based in Nashville. And what drew me to her was a reel that she had created where she was painting abstract art for her clients. And I thought, wow, that is so cool. It seemed like a fun project, but it also just seemed so authentic to who she was. She clearly is someone who's creative, and I thought that was interesting. Like, oh, so if I work with you and buy a house with you, you'll paint me a picture. That's so interesting. And she's just got a very fun and bubbly personality, and you could just tell it's not fake. That's who she is. Versus, I think some people on social media, and I don't know what your thoughts are on this as a photographer, but the focus seems to be on pure aesthetics without any message or offer of value behind the aesthetics. It's just, look at me on the beach drinking a margarita. Isn't this pretty with the sunset behind me? But there's no, message, I guess.
Yeah. A lot of business owners are like, they think the content they need to post is to like I said, go viral. But it's the content they need to post is connection. Like, what is your service? Like, what do you do? Like, who are you? Why do people want to work with you? What's the benefits of working with you? It's giving value while talking about your business, right? But it's giving value versus like, how do I go viral? How do I reach more people? How do I make more money? It's giving value to people, and then it will come back to you in the end.
Yep, 100%. And I think that is actually a positive because we've moved away from billboard advertisements and commercials, which in their own way, those are trying to be viral because they're trying to reach as broad of an audience as possible and get as many views as possible. But nowadays, people like to purchase services and products from other people.
Yes, people don't buy from brands. People buy from people. And there's a person behind that brand. And yes, they're buying from the business and the brand itself, but you are buying it because you like the person that built the business. You like what they offer. You like the value that they're giving you, because there's something called the know, like, and trust factor in business. So they have to know you before they like you. They have to like you before they trust you. And they have to trust you before they ever hand over that credit card.
Yeah, sounds about right to me. So do you have any stories, could be recent, could be distant, of a business or a person who you feel like you really helped them not only understand branding, but create their own brand? And what is that?
Yeah. Ooh, that's a good question. So I worked with a salt spa back in, they're up in Mequon, Grafton. I always get that wrong. And they had a great brand. They worked with a brand designer, so they had the foundations, but we needed the visuals. So I went in and we told the story of their business. They contacted me when they had 4x4s still up in their business. They didn't even have their business completed. But they're like, we know we want to help the community. We want to reach out to our dream clients. We want to build community here. So I went in, we brought in some models, which are just real people. And we showcased what their service will look like. So they went in, we used the salt rooms, we used their sauna, their infrared sauna, and I showcased what it would be like for them to go to this business and work with them. So we showed like the relaxing, what they would offer, the emotions behind it, along with headshots of the owner, photos of their gorgeous space. But we told the story of what it would be like to work with this business and what you will feel like after you leave this space versus just, here's what we offer.
Yeah. I think what you're doing is you're really kind of going against the traditional business media model. You know how when you go on LinkedIn, everyone has the same headshot?
Yes, exactly.
Not to call anyone out. I have a basic headshot too on LinkedIn, and it's not even professional. It was taken on an iPhone. But how would you say what you're doing is different?
Yeah. So everyone needs a headshot, right? But that is, most times when you think of a headshot, you think of a background, like a solid color background, just like from the neck up. It's just your face. It's just appearance. But I think your headshot should tell a little bit about you, especially for business owners or someone building a personal brand. You want your headshot to kind of tell a little bit about you, either what you offer, the like aesthetic or vibe that you offer. Like if you are a professional helping high achieving women grow a business, yes, a red power suit or something like that more like shows off your expertise is amazing. But if you are working with people like in a holistic setting and you want people to feel relaxed when they come to you, you want them to feel comfortable when they're working with you, that red power suit isn't going to work. It's going to probably deter those clients. So you want your headshot to have a little bit of aesthetic or personality in it so they can kind of feel like, who are you? Who are they working with? Who are you hiring versus just your appearance?
That's such an interesting point. I don't always think of it in that way, but you're talking about how you can create an emotion with visuals. And I guess I know that innately you see an image and it'll make you either feel repelled or like you want to move closer. I don't know if I'm wrong on this, but I feel like you are very bubbly. I get a bubbly vibe
Yes.
from the way you dress. It's hot pink and it's kind of exciting. It's not dull, but it's not overly professional to the point where I'm terrified.
Yes. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Pink is my brand color. And since I help other business owners stand out, I want to practice what I preach. So I want to stand out. I want to be my brand and be authentic to who I am. So yes, I've walked into networking events where there's attorneys and I'm wearing pink, but that's okay because that's authentic to who I am, who my business is. And I'm not going to put on, a black power suit just to fit into a box because I want to work with people who I'm going to connect with. And I want to help people, and I can't help them if I'm putting myself in a box.
Yeah. And I feel like that lesson of not trying to people please to the point where you are going against who you are, that's not just in business, that's in life too. You don't want to pretend to be someone you're not because then you're going to attract a crowd of people around you that don't have an accurate view of who you are, what your values are, what you're comfortable with, and what you're even like. I feel like so much of just general dissatisfaction and loneliness gets caused by doing the opposite of what you just said.
Yeah, exactly. Because you aren't going to be happy if you have built a brand, a personal brand around something that you don't love. And you don't want to be in every day because when you're building a business, you could go get a job, but you are building this business, you're working more hours, there's sweat, there's tears, and you are putting yourself into this business. So you need to make sure you're enjoying it because if you're not enjoying it, why are you building this?
Yeah, no, 100, everything you're saying, I'm like, I can't talk today. Retweet.
Yes.
Retweet. Say it louder for the people in the back. Yeah, no, as I'm at a point in my career where I'm trying to do a pivot and I turned 30 recently. And so that was also a wake up call to me that I really want to make sure that I'm curating a life that I am enjoying, that I want to live every single day because I feel like the older you get, the more those decisions start to settle in a way. So thinking about my career, I started thinking about what it is that I really love to do. Well, I love talking to people. I would say I'm not a full extrovert. Like you said, it's kind of a mix, but I definitely enjoy going to events and meeting people and building connections. And so when I was thinking about, okay, how can I create a career that I love? Well, let's start there. And that's how I came up with the idea for this portraits series where I interview people in places that have to do with my sense of home,
Yeah.
So yeah, I love everything that you're saying about just being authentic. I think that's the main theme here is to just be authentic to yourself. And I guess bouncing off of that, would you say that you see yourself growing this business or outside of Waukesha, outside of Milwaukee, or do you plan to kind of stick around this general area?
Yeah, so I'm staying here at our studio here in downtown Waukesha. I work all throughout between like Madison, Milwaukee, Cedarburg, West Bend area, down to like Lake Geneva, Racine. So I work all around the southeastern Wisconsin. I have a studio space here because I know a lot of business owners don't have a brick and mortar space. So many business owners are online. So I wanted to have a space where people could come in and we could create a space for them and for their brand photo shoot. But I work all around southeastern Wisconsin, and I can't wait to continue to just grow this business.
Yeah, no, for sure. And Wisconsin, I feel like it's a good place to grow and work. I read an article, and I don't know where it was. It might have been in Forbes, but it was talking about how Milwaukee is one of the best places to be as a young entrepreneur. And I'm sure it's kind of similar for Waukesha County. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. If it wasn't negative 23 degrees once a year, I think it would be a little better. But I think the community here is amazing. There's so many opportunities to meet other business owners. There's so many events that you can go to. And the community also loves supporting small businesses. Like there's probably 6 coffee shops within a 5-minute drive from here, probably more than that. I've been to every one of them. Like, I love supporting local businesses, and I think so many people around here do as well versus going to a franchise.
Oh, yeah. I feel like small businesses are what make a community work. They are what give the community character. When you think of your hometown, you think of the businesses that are unique to that hometown. No offense to Starbucks, but that doesn't come to my mind because that is literally everywhere. Whereas Mama D's down the street, that's only in Waukesha. And so they definitely give you a sense of place. I think also, and I don't know if you will agree with this, I think that Wisconsin and Milwaukee, Waukesha, they're good size towns and cities compared to, I'm from Chicago.
Oh.
I'm sure it's a great place to start a business, but it's definitely going to be, it's a bigger city, so more competitive, and people are more in a rush sometimes.
Yeah, so they call it small Waukee for a reason, right?
Yeah.
And it is so true. Even in Waukesha here, I had a business owner here that I met at a networking event, our Waukesha Women's Networking Night. We were just having coffee here, and the person that came installed my sign, we were all chit-chatting, and they know each other just through a connection of another person. So it's so fun to just chat with someone, and you always know either the person, you have a mutual friend, a mutual connection, and then they took a selfie to send it to the person that they knew. So it's just so fun to be in the community here because just everyone knows each other, and if you don't, just give it a second. That Midwestern charm, we'll know each other real quick.
Yeah, no, there's definitely something to be said for small Waukee and the Midwestern friendliness, the Midwestern charm, because I don't know, maybe it is the winters, maybe it gives us that character, that backbone. I don't know what it is, but I've lived on on the East Coast for a brief period of time, like 4 months in DC. And I've been to New York, and then I also lived in Oregon for a period of time as well.
Ooh.
So I've been all over the country, I guess.
Yeah.
And I'm a Midwestern girly at heart. I don't know what it is, but the people here, I feel like they're more willing sometimes to slow down and talk with you. Whereas if you're in New York, people are they got places to be. They're busy.
Yes, my friend moved from Louisiana to Michigan, and when she first moved to Michigan, she was like, everyone's talking to me. I hate it. And then she moved to New York, and then now up there in the Northeast, she's like, no one talks to me at the grocery store, and I'm really sad about it. So it's so funny that once you get into the Midwest and you really start chatting with everyone, because you can go to the grocery store and strike up a conversation with someone, and then you move away from it and you miss that community and that connection.
Yeah, no, my husband is from California, and he's slowly and steadily, he doesn't like the winters, but he loves the summers here, and he likes the community here. It's definitely a very open and friendly one, and he feels like he's made a lot of friends here, and he's built his own community here. So I think that in and of itself makes it a lot easier when you think of entrepreneurship and business, because you want that community behind you. So it's nice to live in a place where people are open to helping you get started. I guess my next question is, what would be your advice to someone who has a business idea, could be anything? What would be some advice you would give them for starting their own business here in Waukesha or in Milwaukee?
Yeah. So at first, go out and chat with people, build relationships, build community, but on more of a foundational aspect, figure out what you want to offer and kind of niche down a little bit. You can always grow and get bigger, but get really good at one thing and get known for one thing, and then you can start expanding. And talk to people, ask people questions. Like, you asked me if I wanted to have this interview, it was a yes. And it's so simple of just asking someone do you want to learn about my business? Do you want to have coffee? Can I tell you about what I'm starting? And the conversations will flow from there. So figure out what you want to offer, kind of niche down a little bit. Talk to one person within your marketing, create social media accounts, and build an email list, because you don't own your social media followers, but you do own that email list. So when Instagram and Facebook decide to go down randomly on a Tuesday, you still have the opportunity to connect with people. And then once you start growing that business, having high quality photos is really essential in growing that business to the next step, because you don't want like cell phone selfies on your website. If you want to become an expert in a field, you want to be known as a professional, even if your professionalism, and like mine, isn't like definition professionalism, but you want to showcase that you are a legit business, you are going to be offering incredible services or products, and start building that foundation before you start growing to different services or products.
Yeah, I like what you said on focusing on one thing. I think a lot of people get overwhelmed at the beginning because there's just so much to do that you can do. And I think the more you focus on that one thing, it slowly and steadily can start to branch out. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah. When I was doing all around photography, then I switched to branding, and I commented on like a Facebook post if someone was looking for a photographer, and she told me she chose me because I don't offer every type of service. She said, you're an expert at one thing, and I wanted to work with an expert in order to grow my business.
Yeah, and I'm sure the same thing for wedding photographers. They want to, well, I can speak from personal experience. I wanted to work with an editorial wedding photographer, which is even more niche. So it's always niching down. It's so funny. I didn't realize this until I started planning my wedding, how many different branches of photography there are. Yeah. It's documentary style, editorial style. I don't even remember the other ones.
There's light and airy, there's bold, there's contrasty, there's moody. Like, personally, I like to say it's bold, bright, and colorful. So there's so many different types of photography that you can offer.
Yeah, and it's probably fun figuring out which style is for you. And it's good that you figured out early on that weddings and all that wasn't for you. You'd rather be working with brands and have that intention behind it. So
yes, yeah, adding like the strategic side within marketing with the photography. So it goes hand in hand, which you kind of need to have intentional strategic images within your marketing in order to grow it. Because if you just have pretty pictures, you just have pretty pictures. If it doesn't attract your dream clients and grow your business, you're not actually making an investment.
Yeah, no, that's so true. And I think everyone listening to this can learn from what you're saying, because that mindset of just thinking before you post about who it is that you're trying to attract, could be an audience member, could be a client, and to really consider that before hitting post, because you don't want your page to be random and haphazard. You want it to have an intention. My page, I'm really just trying to promote Waukesha and Waukesha County for now. I might branch out eventually. My idea behind Portraits of Home is that maybe one day it could become a media outlet, like podcasts, or maybe even a magazine one day where it's Portraits of Home Waukesha, Portraits of Home Milwaukee, and really capturing all the different Wisconsin communities. But for right now, I'm just kind of focusing on Waukesha because I love it here. and it's my home, and I really like it. I don't know. Branching out to Waukesha, what are some of your favorite places here?
Ooh, so I love Idyllic Bubble Tea. I love their strawberry coconut smoothie. It's amazing. And then I also love Steaming Cup, People's Park, the gelato place.
I haven't been yet.
Oh, you have to go to the gelato place. And then it's right across the street, if I'm remembering correctly, from Allo Chocolat. Their chocolate store. I love sweets, if you can't tell. So yeah, I love little spots in downtown Waukesha, and Mama D's is another one. Coffee shop just down the road from my studio, and the Waukesha Cafe House is also amazing as well.
I love the Waukesha Cafe House. They're friendly there, and I would say next to Cafe des Arts, or the Arts Cafe, sorry if I got that wrong, but those are two of my favorite places to study and to work at.
Yeah.
Their lighting and atmosphere is just very cozy and comfortable. And then People's Park, fish fry.
Ooh, the chicken pesto sandwich is for me.
Yeah. I have to try their chicken pesto sandwich. You're the second person that has told me that is good. I love the fish fry they have there. It's some of my favorite fish fry in general, and I'm always on the lookout for a good fish fry place.
Yes. Oh, I also have to shout out the Waukesha Farmers Market. I forgot to mention them on every Saturday. That is my favorite farmers market to go to.
I love that farmers market. I'm sure you've seen that I've been doing the interviews and going around meeting all the different vendors, and it's a great place. My brother actually almost went on a first date there.
That is so cute. That would be such a cute first date spot.
No, it really would. A farmer's market? Like, yeah.
Yes. And I love your series introducing all of the business owners at the farmers market, because you're just walking around, you're looking at the products, but it's nice to know like what they're doing.
Yeah.
Where they started. What are they doing? Where else can you find them?
And the stories behind their businesses. Every time I ask someone how it is that they started their business, I am always surprised, and it's always unique to the person. I've met people who started a business because they're in the middle of a midlife crisis and they want to try something new. Or I've met people that started their business because they couldn't handle corporate America anymore. There was a funny one where I was interviewing this couple, and the husband was like, yeah, I just didn't want my wife to work anymore. So we started our own business. And I'm like, yeah.
I love when people start their own business. They don't have to work as much, and then you work so much longer, but you're enjoying it.
And then it doesn't get categorized in your brain as work.
Yes.
I think that is the dream, is to ultimately have a career where you're doing the work, but it doesn't register as work because you love doing it.
Yes, I can tell you, since I went full-time in my business, there's not been a single day where I woke up and dreaded going to work, which is so incredible to say and think about, that I enjoy, and I get energized from everything that I do. Like, yes, there's some parts that aren't fun, like accounting and all the other hats that we have to wear as business owners, but it's so great to be able to wake up every day and be like, oh, I'm excited. Like, what do I have to go do? Even if it's checking emails, like, it's exciting that I built this and I get to enjoy it every single day. And then I get to help other people as well.
Yeah, and you don't have to wake up and drudge on over to that cubicle with the really bad overhead lighting, opening up an Excel doc for who knows what reason. You don't know what you're doing, but you're doing it anyway. Yeah, I've definitely been there, and some people like it. I've met people that really do enjoy being in the corporate world, and that's why you have to work. You have to have a life that's authentic to you, because for every person that doesn't like being in corporate, there's a person that does. Mm-hmm. I've met them, and they're happy. So it really just depends on who you are and figuring out what your personality is, what it is that you think will make for a fulfilling life. That's why I always get so annoyed about conversations that try to broad brush everything, like, oh, no one wants to work this kind of job, or no one wants to do this or be this. And it's like, no, there's something for everyone out there. You just have to figure out what it is for yourself.
Exactly. Yes. Like, I don't love to do accounting, and that's why I hired an accountant. Like, I don't love I didn't want to put my sign up, so that's why I hired someone to put my sign up. Same thing with a lot of people that I work with. They don't want to take photos. They don't want to do social media. So they hire it for me. So you have to find out what you really enjoy doing, and then you can offer that service to help other people because people need that.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree with everything you're saying. It's just like, yes. There are some aspects that it's better to sometimes delegate than to try to take on everything for yourself. I think one day, maybe if I get better at podcasting, I'll probably want to hire a sound mixer, because there are people that do that for you. But for now, I'm just getting started because you have to put yourself out there, get started before you can commit to investing even more.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. When I did my first interview years ago with my business, she was talking about my part-time job that I had. And I was like, oh, I'll never leave that. Like, that's such an easy job. And so, but years later, I no longer do it. And I'm so happy. But you have to pivot as you move. You have to start somewhere. You can't just start and hire everything because that's not possible. You need to start somewhere. You can add on a little bit, delegate a little bit more, and then you are a successful podcaster or business owner and you are on the top of the charts.
Yeah, I like to call it adjusting as you go. Get started and then adjust as you go. Don't stop and quit, or if you make a mistake, don't see that as a failure. See that as, okay, we're adjusting. We're going forward, but we're going to switch directions. We're going to go a little east instead of continuing on north, So It's just constantly going with the flow and accepting that no one is going to criticize you more than yourself.
Yes, exactly. And that's a really big thing that I tell people about showing up on social media and posting their business and talking about their business. They're like, oh, people are going to think about it. I said I stuttered here. I did this here. And it's like, no one is thinking about us as much as we are. No one is rewatching our reels, trying to find something cringy. Like, people are more impressed that, wow, this person's talking about this. Wow, they did this video. They were talking to the camera. People are more impressed with what you do versus like cringed by it. We just don't understand that because we're just in our heads. That's why like a little mindset shift when it comes to showing up on social media, talking about your business, building your personal brand, shifting it to be a service for other people versus like thinking about yourself.
Yeah, no. And I mean, there might be people out there that analyze you, but they're not really people that you would ever care. Who cares what they think? Because I mean, I don't know. Get a life if you're just commenting negative things. I've gotten some interesting, weird comments on my page. You wouldn't think that you would get hate comments for reels about your dog and about your community, but there's always someone out there that's going to have something negative to say or something that they want to say, and it's probably from an anonymous account that isn't even attached to their name. So it's like, who cares? I skim my comments right now. I had one post that for whatever reason, it got a lot of traction and all the comments started coming in, and I skimmed it for positive ones and just kind of ignored the negative ones because I don't have time to ponder.
Yeah, and the people who are leaving negative comments are never going to hire you.
No, and they're never going to want to work with you or meet you, and it's, just consider, my mom always says, consider the source, Olivia. Is that really someone you'd want to impress? No. User 2653 with no profile pictures, not someone that I need to know. So
yes, someone that's ahead of you is never going to look back at their past self and judge them.
Yeah. No, that's 100% true. Yeah. So I think that kind of touched a lot on advice for people that are getting started with their businesses. And if you want to do a plug for yourself right now, because Indigo is now up and running in Waukesha. It has been for a few years. So
yeah. So if anyone needs headshots, if any business owner needs photos for their business, their marketing, their social media, I take photos that help other business owners make more money. I help business owners attract their dream clients and make marketing easier again. So if any business needs any assistance with photos, headshots, product photos, event photography, or social media management, I would love to be a service.
Yeah. And if you are living in Waukesha and you're a woman who wants to network,
Yes.
women's networking event?
Yes, our next Waukesha Women's Networking event is July 30th, held here at Studio Indigo, and we offer these events every other month. So if you aren't able to make it, follow us on Instagram. It's indigomedia.co, or join our email list. If you can go on our website, indigomediaco.com, and we will send you information about our next event because we'd love to have you.
Awesome. Thank you for listening.